Alright, and there you have it. That is Deadly Premonition. Definitely a very quirky game. I do apologize it took me so long to finish this. Hell, that was almost half a year. Probably more than half a year. I don't remember when I first uploaded this. Yeah, I bought a house. I mean, that's going to take a ton of time getting the house ready, looking for a house, moving in, all that kind of stuff. Just getting situated. Plus, I have roommates now, and it's tough to record with roommates. It's just, I don't want to tell them, hey, you guys can't talk or whatever. And I'm not like that, but it's just, when I started this as a solo playthrough, I wanted to finish it as a solo playthrough just to keep it consistent. Next ones, we'll have them involved. We are after Dead Island, or God, wait, what is it? Dead Island, yeah, there's too many games that start with Dead. I almost said Dead Space, and then my mind thought, no, not Dead Space, that's the one in space. It's Dead Rising. No, wait, that's the zombie one in the mall. There's just too many Dead games. So, there you have it. Some people love this game, a lot of people hated it, they think it's a shit game. It shouldn't have been sent out as early as it was. It's really unpolished. Graphics are, let's be honest, PS2 era graphics. But I don't know, for me, it just felt like everything worked, everything fell into place. There's a lot of genius behind it, but I kind of have to wonder if it was intentional genius or if it was just like, if I have a puzzle box and I start shaking it up and I open it and all the pieces just magically fell in place. I think that's what happened with this game. They did have boss fights, and it was, well, okay, there was a quick time event. That was, let's be honest, that was fucking awful. God, my arms are still sore from that part. Maybe I do it wrong. I'm not good at mashing. When I play fighting games, I play dolls and mini Hondas. That way I don't have to push buttons as much. So, some good points of the game. Definitely the characterization. Had extremely good characterization. You can't help but like York. George and Thomas, I mean, before the ending, I think the point when you see Thomas dressed as a woman, that's when the game just takes a huge turn, takes a completely different tone. Everything it built up at that point is just like, oh fuck, it's kind of gone now. You know, and they say it in the game. This is a point you can't go back from. Once you hit this area, you will never go back. And, you know, that's what York dreams about too. In every dream of his, or almost every dream, they tell you that. And once you get to that point, it's right. Playing through this a second time, it's interesting seeing all the clues and stuff that they leave for George and Kaysen. But in the beginning parts, they really don't leave any clues, which really isn't good etiquette. I guess that's a good word. A good way to do a mystery. I mean, this isn't so much horror as it is a mystery game. The only real horror aspects are when you're going through, I don't know what he calls it, profiling. It's really weird. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. The Silent Hill knockoff stuff that you do. Let's see. So, like, I'm trying to think of points back. When George was arguing about the files, the police documents, that, you know, he says they didn't exist. That kind of makes sense. But before that, why would he voluntarily take off his coat? It's just... And plus, I guess I had the camera weird back then, so you couldn't see it now, but I was looking for the cross, or the tree symbol on his back, and I don't think it was there. As for Thomas, the love G was funny. When you see that, you know, a lot of people said George, and you were right. You guessed that one right on the nail. As for some of York's dreams, or I guess I should say Zach's dreams, who knows whose perspective it was. That is kind of a fuzzy spot. You do see the Kaysen doll in the dream being held by the girls that were killed by George, and that also gives it away that it's Kaysen. On top of the biggest clue is the FK in the coffee. I mean, he sees that and then immediately meets Forrest Kaysen, and he even points out, FK, we gotta keep an eye on him. Well, he's never been wrong when he did the coffee. The coffee has always helped, from the fishing to seeing Harry, right up to FK being the killer, the main culprit for not just this case, but every case that he's been involved in. Swery, the maker of the game, I think it was him, if not someone else, maybe they were using his actual name, has said that he wants to do a sequel to this, or another Deadly Premonition type game. It's hard to do, since that had so much closure at the end. Of course, he's still in the FBI, but it's now Zach, and me and the audience, we fell in love with York's character, his love of movies, that kind of stuff. Just the way they made him, and Zach seemed a lot, not a lot, they didn't really give him too much talking, but he did seem different slightly. Or maybe at that point in the game things got too serious where you couldn't build a characterization like you could before. But I do think a prequel would still be amazing. You have York. I mean, hell, let's just talk about that, the cat lady that he was talking about in the beginning that gave him the mark on his cheek. That would be perfect. Or maybe just have that as part of the side part. I mean, we have how many, I don't know how many baggies of those red seeds he had. That's a sequel each one. And so there you go. I mean, not really much for me to talk about on this. Everything I wanted to say I've said in the game. The ending, I do not like that ending at all. It's okay having York and Emily go away. That's fine. In fact, that reminds me of Doctor Who with David Tennant with Rose. In fact, that's very similar to that, come to think of it. But the way everything went supernatural on me, it was a completely different pace of what the game led up to that point. It made you feel like the supernatural parts was York's imagination, or that's just how he saw things, or stuff like that. And it was an actual just small town murder. And then Kaysen, that boss fight was just too much. It took away a lot of the seriousness, just having a giant Forrest Kaysen with a doll of himself in his hand that you had to shoot. It's just, I don't know. I'm having a hard time putting my thoughts to words right now, but don't get me wrong, those things really did not take away from everything up to that point. I still don't understand how you're supposed to get your car. If I do load a game, you can go to resume. Or select chapter, I mean, instead of resume. And this is for, here we go, every single spot in the game. So you can go back and do your, do side quests that you missed, anything like that. I won't be doing those, sorry. If you want to see every single quest, there's YouTube. I got a huge chunk of them. And let's see what we have in the specials real quick. Let's take a look at that.